Good morning, fourth graders. Welcome to Eureka Math. Before we start this, we're going to do a little warm-up. The old fluency practice. Always a lot of fun for you and me. So let's get going and rolling and doing what we do so good. Let's start off with, pardon me. Let's write this, and write with me, please. Well, say this in your mind. What do we call that? Say it in the canyons of your mind. Well, if you said 1/100th, you're absolutely correct. But now we're going to turn this into a decimal. Thank goodness the decimal dictator's not around to tell us what to do. So what will this look like as a decimal? Well, I know it's 1/100th, so it's going to be a 0. It's going to be less than 1. My decimal point will go right there. And it's not a 10th. This is the 10th place. So we're going to put a 0 there. It's 100th. So we need to put our 1 right there. Let's continue with a few more. And we're going to start off with, we're going to go 2/100ths, or 200ths, excuse me. And what decimal form would this look like? Think about it. Well, if you said 0.02, you would be absolutely correct. Let's continue on with 3/100ths. Write this along with me. How would we put this in decimal form? Well, we would say 0.03. Are we seeing a pattern here? I think we are. Let's go to 7/100ths. And what would this equal? Well, 0. What? Think about it. 0.07 is the correct answer. Just checking my math here. Okay, I'm going to lower that a little bit. I don't think it's so high. All right, so let's try one more. Let's do 17/100ths. Well, think about this. We have a 10th and we have 7/100ths. So it'd be 0.17. I hope that makes sense. Let's give this another try here. And we're going to write that same fraction, 17/100ths, and we're going to break this down a little bit to show what we got going on. Okay, we have 10/100ths plus something hundredths. Well, think about it. 10 plus what is 17? Well, 10 plus 7. And of course, in decimal form, that would equal 0.17, or 17/100ths. Let's continue with this. We'll do one more, or two more. We have 13/100ths equals blank hundredths plus 3/100ths equals what? Let's think about this. We have 13/100ths. Denominator doesn't change, right? So what's going to go right here? What plus 3 is 13? Well, if you said 10, you're absolutely correct. And think about what decimal, in decimal form, what this equivalent fraction will look like. 13/100ths. It would equal 0. What? Well, 0.13. Ones column is 0, tenths is 1, and hundredths is 3 for 13/100ths. Let's try 19/100ths. Go ahead and write this down. And it'll equal blank 100ths plus 9 blank equals 0. What? So write that down. And think about that. Okay, so you probably know that 100th would go there, right? The denominators have to be the same if we're adding them. And then 9 plus what is 19? Well, 10. And how would this look like in decimal form? 0.19 or 19/100ths. Let's get out a new piece of scratch paper. And we're going to go with this look, a decimal, 0.05, or how do we say that? 5 what? 5/100ths is correct. So how would this equal in a fraction form? Well, we'd have the 5 up top and the hundredths on the bottom. 5/100ths in decimal, 5/100ths in fractions. Let's continue on and do a few more. Let's do 0.15 equals what fraction? Think about it. 0.15 is 15/100ths. There's my tenths, there's my hundredths. So it would just be 15 hundredths. Continue on. And we'll do, let's do 0.03. How many hundredths will that equal? Well, I say that is 3 hundredths, so my fraction must be 3 hundredths, right? We're going to continue on, and we'll do 0.13, or 13 what? 13 ones, tenths, hundredths, 13 hundredths. Got to put my 100 down below as my denominator, and 13 as my numerator, and we're all set there. I'm going to do one final problem here. Let's take a look at 100 hundredths, all right? So think about our meter stick. We had 100 centimeters equaled 1 whole meter. So we have 100 hundredths. When the numerator and the denominator are the same, it equals 1. Okay, let's get out our application problem. Let's go ahead and read it first. We know that the perimeter of a square measures 0.48 meters. Okay, what is the measure of each side in centimeters? Well, let's think about it. Perimeter, what does that mean? Perimeter means, remember, on the outside. So it equals 0.48 meters. Well, let's think about this some more. We're going to take a look. How many sides does a square have? 4, right? So I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, this isn't a square. It's just showing that the square has 4 sides. And that the entire perimeter of this square equals 0.48 meters. So go ahead and write that down. What we don't know what each side equals. This is the mystery, the side. And we want to know what side it is in centimeters. So, first thing we're going to do is take a look at 0.48 meters, or 48 hundredths of a meter. What does that equal in centimeters? Well, let's find out. We're going to say 0.48 meters would equal how many centimeters? Well, remember, 100 centimeters are in a meter, right? So this would just equal 48 centimeters. 48 out of 100. All right? So we got that. And now we just need to figure out how much each one of these are. So let's think about that. We can go 48 divided by what? Well, 48 divided by 4. So 4 times the number is 48. Let's think about what number that could be. 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times 11 is 44. So 4 times 12 must be 48. So this would equal 12 centimeters. And I'm sorry, Hunter, I didn't put the centimeters right there. So the side equals 12 centimeters. Okay? There's another way we could have gone about this. Let's just take a look at another solution. We could have said 0.48 meters, right? And we could have broken this up like we did yesterday. And it could have gone to 4 tenths plus how many hundredths? Well, if you said 8, you're absolutely correct. So then we could have broken this down further. And let me see, hopefully we can get all this in. I'm running out of room, it looks like. So 4 tenths, we would have 1 tenth, 1 tenth, 1 tenth, and 1 tenth, all right there. And then on the 8 hundredths, we would go divide that by 4, we would get 2 hundredths, 2 hundredths, 2 hundredths, and 2 hundredths. So we have that there. Then all we would have to do, since we've divided in 4, we would just have to go 1 tenth plus 2 hundredths. Remember from yesterday, what would that equal? Well, our denominator has to be the same, so I'm going to make that 100. And then that 100. 10 times 10 is 100. 1 times 10 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. So it would equal 12 hundredths. So the side would equal 12 100ths of a meter, or 12 centimeters. All right, that is our application problem. Let's move on to our concept development. We will need our problem set out. So if you can get your problem set book, we'll start on this just in moments. Mr. Leggett has to get his. Hello, Mrs. Regal. We're live on tape. Come back? Okay. So take page 17 of your problem set and rip that out. Page 17 looks something like that. And we're going to start with a few problems. So we're going to simplify hundredths using division, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is take this box here, and remember each one of these boxes symbolizes 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to show that 1/10, and write this down please, equals 10 100ths. How can this be? Well, it can be. Oh, here comes the calculating cow. I don't understand. How can 1/10, you sound like the math mutt. Should I change my voice? I think it's only fair to avoid confusion. All right then. How can 1/10 possibly equal 10 hundredths? Well, calculating cow, I'm going to show you how that's possible. How 1/10 could equal 10 hundredths. I don't think it's possible, but I'm willing to learn. Well, that you have a growth mindset and you should be congratulated for that. So please back up and I'll show you how it's done. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Leggett. I look forward to working with you in the future. So we have 1/10. How many am I going to color in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I would just color in 1, right? This shows me 1/10. Now, this square over here, this represents 1. It's broken into 100 pieces. How do I know? 10 times 10 is 100. How many am I going to color in? Well, I would color in, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, so I would color in 10 out of 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here's 1/10 and there's 10 100ths. So we can see that they're equal. So 10 100ths must equal 1/10. Let's scroll down to the next one. And this one we're going to show 3/10 equals 30 100ths. Okay? So 3/10. I'm going to color in 3. Do you understand calculating cow? Well, Mr. No, your voice goes like, come on, do your right voice. Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Leggett. Yep, I can totally see now that 1/10 does indeed equal 10 hundredths. Now I'm looking at 3/10 and how that's going to equal 30 hundredths. I think I'm starting to get this. Well, I knew you would because calculating cow, you are Mr. Growth Mindset. So here's 1/10, 2/10, and 3/10. Now over here, we're going to color in 30 out of 100 to see if they're equal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're doing that mighty fast, Mr. Leggett. Oh, I know calculating cow, but I have a lot of smart students. All of them are, and they know how to do this. They catch on quick. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 29, and 30. So we have 30 hundredths and 3/10. Do we see how they're equal? 30 hundredths is equal to 3/10. Exact same amount. Remarkable, is it not? Why, yes it is. All right, so let's just kind of look at this in another way. Flip this paper over. And the way we could look at this also, and write along with me please, without using all those fancy area models, we could just go 10 100ths, right? Equals. Write that out. Equals 10 divided by 10 and 100 divided by 10. Well, 10 divided by 10 is what? Well, that's 1, Mr. Leggett. Well, thank you, calculating cow, but let the students think this one out. And 100 divided by 10 is 10. You got it. Remember, our number system is based on the number 10. So let's take a look at 30 100ths, remember like we did before. And we're going to divide this up, break it down, decompose, and we'll go 30 divided by what? Well, we're working in tens and hundreds, so let's divide it by 10. And then 100 divided by 10. What's 30 divided by 10, everybody? I hope you said 3 in your mind, and 100 divided by 10, we know what that's all about. Let's flip this up a little bit. We're going to say 3/10. How would we get that to equal 30 100ths? Well, we would just use multiplication. 3 times 10 equals 30, and 3 times 1. Whoops, excuse me. Excuse me. Why did I put a 3 there? 10 times 10 equals 100. Mr. Leggett. So I can note immediately, really without even thinking about it, that 30 100ths equals, just divide in your head, 3/10. Just like 2/4, we know if we divide them both by 2, equals 1/2. All right, go ahead and put that away. We're going to start our concept development. And what we're going to do is we're going to need a, save this. That's not going anywhere. We're going to return to that. But we're going to use some more scratch paper. So let's take our scratch paper and we're going to make a tape diagram. And let's put it on the horizontal. And we'll go like this. Let's make that and break it into 10. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this represents, of course, 1 hole. All right, so let's say we want it to shade. Let's get ready to shade a little bit. And what we're going to shade is 10, 20, and we'll break this into tens. Oh boy, that's a small one. You know what? We're going to start over. We're going to make this a bigger tape diagram. Make it very large. Thank you for being patient, calculating cow. No problem, Mr. Leggett. So we're going to make this large so we can really fit in. I'm going to go all the way across the paper here. And go ahead and do yours too. You just have to cross yours out. All right. So let's break this into 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, oh terrible, 50, 60, 70, 80, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. So now, we're looking at this fraction. 25 100ths. Okay, remember we were doing this yesterday? So how many we should shade? How many tenths should we shade? Well, I would shade 2, Mr. Leggett. Well, that's right, because you know there's 2 tenths right there. So let's shade 2 tenths, 1 tenth, and 2 tenths. But we've taken care of the tenths. But now we have the hundredths section. So we need to break this into 10 little pieces. Well, that's fascinating, Mr. Leggett. Thank you, calculating cow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So there we have it. How many are these are we going to color in? What do you think, calculating cow? I don't know, partner, maybe 6? Well, why would you say 6? There's no 6 here, it's 25. Oh yeah, they're probably just 5 to show the 500ths and the 2500ths. Correct, cow. So we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this shows me 10, 20, 5 hundredths, okay? If I didn't have this, we could just say 2 tenths. But there's the 2 tenths and there's the 500ths. There's another way to look at this, believe it or not. How can it be? Well, there is. Believe it or not. Let's just take a look at, back to our tape diagram here. And we're going to choose with this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to show 25 hundredths using this. area model, not tape diagram. Silly Mr. Leggett. Okay. So we have them in 10 pieces. We're going to make them 100. How can we do that? It'll take forever. No, it won't. Just watch. Look it. There we have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. Just as simple as that. So now all I have to do is color in how many of these. Well, I have 100 cubes, right? 100 spaces, just 25. And I'm just going to do some quick dots. Mr. Liggett, you're always looking to save some time, aren't you? Well, calculating count, when you teach a combo class, yeah, you have to really be moving all the time to cover all of these math concepts. So I have 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25. And there you have it, a total of 25 hundredths. Hope we got that, boys and girls. Let's take a look at our place value disc now. Hopefully we all have enough. If we don't, well, I'm sorry. And I'm going to use another piece of scratch paper, and I think you should too, because you should do everything I do. No, that's not true. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about hundredths. So they're brown. Those are our hundredths, okay? And crazy Mr. Leggett forgot to get his tenths out. I thought I pulled them, but apparently I did not. Here they are. So we have tenths and hundredths. How many tenths in one hole? 10. How many hundredths in one hole? 100. Simple as that. So let's get our blank piece of paper here, and that's how we're going to set it up. Let me zoom out a little bit, because we can see all this good stuff. So we're going to start off with 10 100ths. Eight, 9, and 10. We have 10 100ths. Okay, what will 10 100ths equal? Go ahead and circle this. 10 100ths equals what? It wouldn't equal 1. Because think about it, our tape diagram here. Look, that was 10. So it's only going to equal 1/10. Okay? So it equals 1/10. But now let's add some more on. Let's add 1. And some of you got really confused with this yesterday on your exit ticket. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more tenths. What is the total number we have here? Think about it. I have a total of 16 hundredths, right? So it's going to look like 0.16. But I could break this down. All 10 of these hundredths equal 1/10. So I'm going to put a 1/10 down here as I decompose. And then how many do I have left over? I have 6 hundredths left. So 6 100ths. That's how we do it, folks. Now, we're just going to push this aside, clear it all off, and I want you to just think about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What is this number right here? What would we call this? 0.5? 0.05? Yeah, it's 5 hundredths. So it'd be 0.05. All right? But now, let's just sweep this off, and we're going to do another one right up here. I hope you saw that. I hope I was in camera. Let's try it again in case I wasn't. 0.5 is 100th, 200th, 300th, 400th, and 500th, right? Equals 0.05. 5 hundredths, 5 hundredths. Okay, we're going to do one other one. We'll hopefully zoom out over here, and we'll say, let's make 2 tenths. Go ahead and use 2 of your tenths, and 5 hundredths again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have 2/10 and 5/100ths, right? 2/10 and 5/100ths. I have a hard time saying that, calculated cow. You mean hundredths? Yeah, that TH in the end gets me kind of tongue twisted. Know what you mean, partner. Just got to keep practicing. You'll get it down. You have a growth mindset too, buddy. Well, thank you, calculating cow. So we have 2/10 and 5/100ths. Let's see how this will look in decimal form. It's less than 0, right? Anything right of the decimal point is less than 0. So we put our 0, our decimal point. How many tenths? 2. How many hundredths? 5. Okay, we're going to be doing our problem set in a moment. So tear out pages. Excuse me, tear out pages. Wow, come on. Come on now. 18, 15, and 16. So you're going to tear out pages 15 and 16. I want you to work on this on your own. Use the notes that we've taken to help you out. All right? We should have this down. We covered it pretty thoroughly, right? Everything here looks like it's ready to go. You guys should know what you're doing. All right, I'll be around to help you. Thank you so much. And thank you, says the calculating cow.